annual meeting of CSL Ocala. And with that, we're going to have an
Rich,
opening
Rich, can't hear you.
prayer.
give it 1 second.
David. Can't hear. It's the microphone too.
His needs to come up just a hair more.
Hello.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, we'll start over. Welcome, everyone, to the 26th annual meeting of CSL Ocala. And we're going to start with an opening prayer as we start everything here.
As we do.
Would you
So,
care
yeah.
to
I will.
put your food
Go ahead.
down and
Yes.
everyone?
Okay. Can you hear me? No. Yes. No.
Wireless needs to go up.
Hello. How about now? Okay. Great. Great. Thank you, everybody. All of you who stayed. And is this being live streamed? Or recording this?
It's going live.
Wonderful. Welcome to everybody who's at home watching. Thank you for your time. We'll take a moment to just turn our attention within. And coming off of this morning's wonderful energy and just reaffirming again that we are part of that oneness, the power and presence of spirit that is in and around and through each of us is right here, right now. And I just affirm that we are each the eyes and ears and voice and hands and feet of spirit itself. And I'm grateful for this gathering of people. I'm grateful in particular for all of those who give of their time and their talents to and treasures to CSL Ocala to further the vision and mission of what it is that we are here to do in being a beneficial presence, both for ourselves and for our larger community. And so I affirm that our time here together is fruitful, that it is enlightening, and that it continues to move us forward in our purpose and mission and vision. And so I give thanks for all that is revealed here today, for all that we learn, and for the energy that continues to expand and grow in, through, and as Center for Spiritual Living Ocala. And I release these words with joy and gratitude, and so it is. So it is.
So it is.
So it is.
All right. So, first of all, our center is run primarily by different teams or groups that each have different areas that they're in charge of. And we're going to go through each group, and each person is going to speak a little bit about their area. And some of the information is printed in your program there, some of the recap of things, some of it will be a repeat, but that's all right. So moving right along, we're going to have administration and bookstore give their report. Take it away.
So for those who don't know me, my name is Erin Connors, and I am actually the secretary for the board, and I am the face of admin and especially the bookstore. And like we also have our lending library in there. So for admin in 2025, we did go through some changes. We created a bunch of new policies to keep all of our members safe and to kind of help guide them into what it means to be a member. We've also done a lot of reorganization, like our office has been reorganized, as well as some of the closets have been reorganized. And we're going to be, for this year, we're going to be continuing to build on what we started with last year and putting more processes into place and making sure like all of center runs a little smoother, because with that, like admin is this like the central hub of information. Everybody touches upon admin. In the bookstore, we've kind of done a little bit of rearranging. We've gotten some new merchandise into our display case. We've got a whole bunch of books. There's a whole listing of what we have that's currently available. That's sitting right on top of the display case. All the prices are there. our goal, my goal for this year is to kind of revamp that, like the whole bookstore space and consolidate all of the lending library materials, like the white cubbies. That's all part of the lending library, as well as a couple of the shelves that's on the purple bookcase and then the tall bookcase as well. The plan is to just kind of weed out what we've got, things that are no longer as relevant or that we have multiple copies of, get rid of those, and just consolidate and finalize an actual process for people checking out those books. And even replacing our display case, so it's something a little bit easier to get into, because right now getting into it, you actually have to move the whole display case in order to get into it. And I'm also going to be, for those who are going to be helping me out in the bookstore, I'm going to come up with a manual of how to use our tablet and run Square, so we can kind of all keep track of inventory together, and go from there. Rich, would you like me to touch upon my others as well that I'm covering? Since I'm current, okay. So I'm also speaking about the welcome team, and those are the people who greet you at the door. And for new people who come in, we hand out the welcome packets. And like everybody knows, Darlene, she is the face of welcome, and she's not with us right now. So keep everybody, if you could keep her in your thoughts and prayers. She could, like, her body could use some healing, and hopefully she'll be back with us soon. But so we're so grateful that Darlene took on the head of welcome, and we're Lori has helped out with welcome as well, and we're always looking for friendly faces to just greet people, make them feel welcome here. And we do have a whole bunch of welcome packets as we're doing the organizing for admin. Came across some materials that we can use to do that, and I have been putting those together when we need more. So anybody who's willing to help out with greeting people, that's always a good thing, because as you know, when you first came here, having those friendly faces who invited you in, welcomed you with open arms, that makes such a difference. And the other team that I want to speak about is the Green Guardians, which also includes our community garden. We did so much during 2025. We built the raised beds, and we had the Three Sisters Gardens. We, I know, most recently created the Butterfly Garden, which we're going to be expanding on this year. Had on our grand opening of the Butterfly Garden, we had a big butterfly release, which was so transformative for so many of us who attended that. And I do know we're looking for more hands who are willing to get in the dirt, help take care of the grounds, because that's what Green Guardians is. We're kind of we're the caretakers of the outside space. So kind of taking care of any down branches, cleaning up the lawn, keeping the bushes in check. And one Saturday a month is designated as our work day. And our next work day that's coming up is actually going to be this coming Saturday on Valentine's Day. So there's some of us who are going to be getting together and giving our community garden some love. Our plan is to remove all the dirt from the raised beds so we can patch them up, reinforce them, get them ready for planting, which we intend to do in March. And anybody who is interested in helping us out and willing to put forth the effort, we are absolutely ecstatic to have any of those volunteers. We'll be meeting here around 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So I thank you all for your consideration towards helping us out. Thank you. Elaine.
Yeah, I have a question about the bookstore. Very often during the service, books are mentioned, authors are mentioned. Is there a
On the side of the purple bookcase, there is a listing of all the books that we have for sale. The same list happens to be it's on the back side of the list that sits on the display case. So it's easily available to show what books we have. And a lot of the books that are mentioned during the presentation, they are not part of our inventory to sell. But you'd be able to see on the list what we do have available. And if it's possible, you can always check with me, and I can look and see if it might be possible to order it. I can't always guarantee it, but you can always ask.
Thank you, Elaine, for that
Yeah, and
idea
I
as
wanted
well.
to mention something though, because when we have authors that come through here, the bookstore tends to grab extra copies so that they're available. So we do have some books of those people who have come through, and I think that those books are available in the bookstore, but they would be listed on that list.
Correct.
And I just want to say thank you for that suggestion, because like the book I mentioned today, is it not on? Okay.
No, it's away from your mouth.
Okay, how about, okay, yes. Yeah, thank you for that suggestion, because the book that I mentioned today is a phenomenal book, Braving the Wilderness by Brene Brown. I don't know that we have it. I have it in my personal library, but I don't know that we have it here. But if I know, and if I'm going to reference a book a lot, that maybe we could have some copies of it. So thanks for the suggestion.
It would be helpful, and I would be willing to help with this, if need be, to have the author's name and the list of the books that are available by that author.
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely.
So when an author, so I could go to the bookstore and see Brene Brown, okay, that book's not available, but there are several others
Mhm.
by her.
Yeah, excellent idea.
I can't help but wonder, there's gotta be something technologically available to us at this point, that when you reference a book, you might be able to get some kind of a deal, where we can get a discount because you're referencing the book, and anyone here could like order it that same day, like we might be able to work that out. As an organization, we can make the promise we can order 20 books a month,
Yeah, there was Amazon used to have a thing, I don't know if it still does, where you can choose Amazon Smile where you use us as your charity. No, doesn't do it anymore?
Nope, that's gone.
Oh, well, never mind.
But we can look into the possibility of something like that. No guarantees at this time, but it's something that we can look into. Thank you for that suggestion.
Right, there's that.
Cliff?
Where's Cindy? Cindy here?
Just a quick aside,
Cindy was here.
if there's an author who, like a bunch of us want to order, and it comes out to like 12 books, and they might not want to give it to us, but it might be very appropriate if they at least donated one to the library for cheap. Just a thought.
Nice.
All right, thank you for that.
Yeah, you had a question?
I'd like to just let people know that there's a place that you can purchase books very inexpensively called Abe Books, A-B-E Books. Really inexpensive, and the shipping is free on them.
Awesome. For those who
Thank you.
are online at home, ABE, Abe Books, for discount books. Thanks, Erin.
So I guess you're complete.
Unless there's any other questions, I am complete. Oh, yes, Jen.
Want more books for the library?
At this time, I would say no. Give us an opportunity to consolidate what we've got and weed out what we no longer wish to have. When we do weed things out, we will offer them to the community if they want to bring them home. So we can give them a new home, a new life.
Nice.
Thank you, Alan. I think I'm not working again.
You are.
Very low. There we go. All right. Next, we have education. So Donna, would you like to speak about that and whatever else you have?
All right. Okay, I'm Donna Davis Andervis, and I'm one of the practitioners here at the Center for Spiritual Living Ocala. And I'm here to speak about the part that spiritual leadership, which is covering education. And education really is all about that spiritual growth part. As it stands right now, we don't really have very many classes that are CSL sanctioned classes or certificated classes on our calendar for this year yet. Norma and I have been discussing offering foundations starting April. It's a 10-week course, so if you're interested in taking Foundations for the Science of Mind, come and see us, and that way we can figure out what day is going to be best for everyone to meet. If you're one that's like, oh, I don't need Foundations, I already have that as my base class, because you need to be able to, because it's a certificated course for further studies, you have to take Foundations or Beyond Limits, those two classes, in order to take the other classes. So if, let's say, you've already had those classes and you wanted to take one of the other classes, you could go ahead and do them online. There are other communities, other teachers that are offering these classes. And so we encourage you to drop into the bigger, greater community of CSL and be able to take your classes from other spaces. I like doing it that way because then it makes the movement bigger. And you get to really meet people in different communities and how their community connects to this teaching. So I like that. Another part of education is youth and family. I'm going to speak to youth and family as well. Our youth and family community, which is our smaller mini community, that is back there. Some people are not able to see the kids because the kids don't come into the bigger space. Like I know Amanda's boys are usually out here. You may see them roaming around. You may see one or two people roaming around, checking on kids. Right now, the big thing for youth and family is that our kids aren't able to be fully expressed back there. We don't have people, volunteers, a good core of people who can watch the kids back there, who are qualified to watch the kids. And there's two qualifications. You must take Foundations, which is the beginning of this teaching. That way you don't inadvertently recondition them or condition them to something that's the old belief system. And the second piece is background check. You have to be background checked. I'm sorry? Yes, the center would pay for that background check. And if you're back there with the kids, that's if you're going to be left alone with the children. If somebody's going to be left alone with the kids back there, you must be background checked. And there's a bunch of different steps that you have to go through in order to volunteer with our kids. If you are saying, oh my gosh, I really love kids, I really want to be available to volunteer with them, then one of the things that we do offer as a community is that we do take care of your CPR card, because they do cover pediatrics and ADE use, and that's really important to know when you're back there, because kids like to stick stuff in their mouth, right? Or nose, or, oh gosh. So there's that, and also Foundations. So if we're going to require you to have Foundation, then that's the one scholarship position that we have. If you're going to be back there with the kids, it gets scholarship for you, and you just have to pay for your registration. This is a $300 class that the center picks up for you because you're volunteer with our young kids. We want to make sure you're really solid if you're going to be back there with the kiddos. And
With
if you're
that, can I interrupt?
Yes.
This is where integrity really comes in, that's my strong point. We have had people say that they want to work with the kids, to get the free Foundations class. Never one day been back there with our kids. So, if you do take us up on that Foundations thing, please help us out with the kids.
And our kids community really is super chill and easy. Most of what our kids are doing back there is just learning through play. And you have to be willing to monitor and help them to learn the concept. So if we're talking about God is all there is, I'm talking to my little ones about, do you think nature's everywhere? What do you think about that tree over there? What do you think about you? Things like that. And that way, you'd be surprised the kids teach you. You may not get the concept, but they will tell you, because they've been closest to Spirit, and we get to listen to them and learn through them and hopefully do a better job than what past parents have done in the past. We're just always ebbing and flowing forward. So a practitioner holds the high watch for our smaller community. So if you're interested in working with our kids, please come and see me. We really need volunteers. We do have something, I lovingly call it the Nana Network. And it's those of us in the Nana position who hold that grandparent role, who babysit, and who have our littles. and who are always looking out for littles. There's some in our Nana networks that are aunties and uncles who are, you know, the baby goes around. Y'all know who you are. Thank you so much for supporting our younger community that way.
Is there a closed circuit TV in there like these?
Yes.
So that you can, I mean, I would imagine that the person sometimes is in there, but maybe sometimes is walking through the garden with the kids, I don't know.
Yes.
But you can hear what's going on also.
Well, okay, so there's a couple of asks for our youth and family. The first is that we do have a TV back there, and it's actually the broadcast that we're watching. So we're watching YouTube like you would at home, back there with the kiddos.
Okay.
The second piece is that we are actually in need of a speaker system that we can pipe through the building and out, like into the garden area. And here's the other piece too, is like when we're sitting for that moment where the food part comes along, the spiritual nourishment part, where the speaker's about to speak, that container from the beginning of the talk to the end of the talk is a focused-in container. And so we have been noticing that it's been a little bit harder for people to focus in on what's going on if there's a lot of distraction. And part of that distraction is our babies. So now I'm trying to activate that. My parents have to be able to sit in here and get fed. So I am, taking the kids, or one of the practitioners is going to be with the babies. Again, you have to be background check. We hold the license, so you must be a level 2 background check if you're going to be back there by yourself with kiddos. But yeah, and that's how we're doing it now. And then the big ask and future ask would be for us to have a whole curriculum and portables, 2 portables out there, one for school age and one for babies, that our kids are able to fully run around and be loud. Because even when they're back there, we're still shushing them. The voice carries, it echoes, And I'm easily distracted, so I know that if I have an issue, others may also have an issue. So we're just trying to be mindful of all of the community members. Yeah, but there's so many people who support our littles, But yeah, man, volunteer. You don't have to volunteer a lot, y'all. Sometimes it's only when we have an event that we would need people to volunteer and come with the babies. But we're seeking right now a babysitter, a designated babysitter for the back. That all you're doing back there is watching the kids. We have a intercom system for our parents. They get a little buzzer. So yeah, it may be disruptive, but it's better than a baby crying, right? So dee, 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 come get your child. Your child is in need of support. That's what we have back there. So if you're interested in any of that, just let me know, and we'll plug you in there. The other piece that I'm going to speak to while I have the mic here is the part of spiritual leadership that is parish nursing. So I took an extra class in order to hold that position as a parish nurse, and we're talking about the health and well-being of our community. We have something called a wellness chat, and in that wellness chat, we have people who perform Reiki. We have Reiki masters in that chat, people who are ministers in that chat. And so then we are watching like the greater community. We're watching the community chat. We're talking with each other. And if we hear of someone that needs prayer support or needs spiritual support or Reiki energy support, then we drop it in that chat, and then all of us just send that extra energy. And what we have found is that when you have 6 Reiki masters or 6 prayer warriors, really directing energy in your way, there's a boost there. So if you're one that does this is your jam, and you're all about praying for people and showing up for people, please come see me for that as well. If you'd like to hold that high watch for people, it's not a whole lot, and you do have to have confidentiality, of course. It's not something you're sharing with the rest of the community. Hey, I just prayed for blah, blah, blah. It's definitely a sacred calling. So if that's on your heart, you can come see me, and we will talk about it some more. The ask in my heart for that is I need visiting angels. Our pastoral care is really in need of visiting people who will actually get in the car and show up, call folks, go see them, that kind of thing. If you're one that loves to do that kind of thing, come let me know. And that's it. Thank you.
I do want to point something out for anybody who is considering maybe a future on the leadership team. We do require foundations or Beyond Limits, any of those foundational classes. So this is just my suggestion that if you are considering being part of our leadership at some point in the future, that you look into participating in one of these classes. It is extremely valuable. I've been through it 3 times, and intentionally, because you get something different out of it every single time. So I encourage that. Thank you.
Oh, and speaking of, repeat. If you are said, hey, I took foundations a while back, as long as we are able to know that you did indeed take it and it's recorded with your last center, you can take foundations again, and you just have to pay for your registration fee. So it is an audited class because it's certificated.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right, next on the list, we have events. Pamela.
Hey, okay, I would like to start off with some of our events that we did in 2025. We did a Weekend of Joy in January. I'm sorry, no. Like, come on. Okay, I'll start again. So wanted to reflect back of in 2025 on some of our events. We did the Weekend of Joy with Amy Steinberg and John Harold Moore with Constellations. We had Eddie Watkins in concert. We also had Shannon Plummer and Bob Sima. Demir. We had our fall festival. That was a good turnout. And Ministar show with Amy Steinberg again. So we had quite a few, almost once a month we have had events. And I also want to say, as events team lead at the Center for Spiritual Living Ocala, I have supported and helped coordinate a wide range of gatherings that bring our community together in our space. Events include everything from Sunday morning services to special workshops, guest speakers, musicians, artists, community celebrations, and family-focused experiences. And my role has involved working alongside many incredible volunteers who show up from the very beginning to the end. And this all includes, the setup and breakdown of chairs, spaces, organizing cleaning crews after events, activating our kitchen team for concession stands and our potlucks. And yes, and I have often collaborated closely with our other teams to make things move smoothly, like with performance team, with us going to Posse for our fundraisers, and our youth and family, like the Fall Festival, and the Variety Show. So, yes. Serving in this role has helped me personally, and it's a big part of, I'm just a big part of the events team. and from events team going into leadership has helped me and supported me and let me get out of my shell. I'm still shaky when I talk, but I feel like a little chihuahua, But it has helped me with my confidence and connecting with new people. So I just want to thank everybody and whoever's on events team. Can you stand up? I'd like to say thank you.
Who helps with events?
Thank you.
All right, so next on the list is facilities and building maintenance, and I will speak to that among other things. And first of all, I don't know that I introduced myself. I am Rich, president of the Leadership Council, and I head up the AV, IT, tech team, marketing, social media, and building and facilities. So, got a few hats to wear. And I'm going to start with AV, which is the audiovisual portion that's used to YouTube, and I'd like to give a special thanks. Let's see, I don't know, for social media. Facebook exceeded over 29,000 followers this year. And, so we are international with people in dozens of countries all over the world, and let's see. IT, Information Technology, which maintains the center's computers, network, Wi-Fi, software, and again, thanks to Cole Diaz and to Justin Grimes. During this last year, we added another Wi-Fi access point, which was for our renter, but it's now being repurposed for the hub that's coming up. And you'll hear more about that later. Marketing and social media maintains the center's website, Facebook pages, Instagram, meetups, and Eventbrite, as well as sharing our events on other local social media sites. And there was a wanted poster up earlier. We are looking for some help. I'd like some help with posting on social media and doing some Facebook follow-up, inviting people that have interacted with our page to like and follow our page. Proofreader, because once in a while somebody blunders and the person that does it doesn't necessarily catch it, so it's good to have a second set of eyes on it. And let's see, as far as marketing, we have a number of fundraising ideas that were left to us by Tiffany, and we need some follow-up on that to implement some of those, so we're looking for somebody to help with that. And as far as building and maintenance, building facilities, this is doing routine maintenance such as changing the HVAC filters, cleaning the gutters, replacing batteries and light bulbs, and just general things like that. And there's a schedule of things that need to be done, and looking for the right person to take that on. Last year, we had some dry rot damage over in the corner over here that had to be repaired before the floor could be put down. So we got that taken care of. We had the wonderful donation of the flooring, and let's see, we put some new cabinets in the business office and cleaned that up very nicely, and some additional storage shelving in the closets, and the charging station. We added the light to the coffee nook so you can see what you're getting. And that's just a few of the things, so that's enough of that. Who's next? Finance and fundraising. Who does that?
You're kind of financial
Oh.
now, and I can do fundraising. So how does that finance?
Well, there is a report in the thing. Basically, we just have the bottom line, not to bore you with all the extras. On the one page at the very bottom is a comparison of the last 3 years. And as you can see, this year 2025 was not very good. We went in the hole. Fortunately, we had a cushion in the bank prior to that. It got eaten up, and now we're kind of living donation to donation and watching the bank balance closely and making sure we don't overdraft anybody. But so far, so good. We're hanging in there, but we definitely could use some additional contributions. If you can raise it just a little bit, if you're giving a few bucks, give a few more. If you're giving $1,000, give 1,100. What the hey? Anything will help. But we also have some plans in place, and I think Cindy will talk about that. So I'll leave that alone for now. But that's the financial report there. And
So for fundraising, the other for that, I'll start out with a hearty thank you to all of you that supported us this past year with all the fundraising that we've done. Pretty much everything that we've presented, whether you were interested or not, you participated. So we appreciate that. We've done just a few of the things that we've done in this past year. We had, of course, the seafood boil that we're gonna do again in March. We had a rock painting, butterfly release. We had butterflies. What do you call those butterfly cutouts that we had all over the walls? No. Anyway, where you buy a butterfly for $1, put an affirmation on it, and put it on the wall. That went over really well. We had a taco night. We had a pasta night with game night. And just a lot of things that we had going on. The word yard sale keeps resurfacing, but that won't happen until we get a champion, because you can make a lot of money off of a yard sale, and the center could really use a lot of money. But I can't champion a yard sale. I'm not that organized. So, if you can think of anything that you may want to present as a fundraiser and possibly can champion, or see if one of us wants to champion it for you, or a group collective effort, definitely let us know. We are not going to be opposed to anything that will help with this bottom line that Rich is speaking of, and or specific to a particular item or trip or what have you. Different fundraisers we have for different events, different things. So, just plug in, if you donations. If you don't want to, I don't do fundraisers, but here's $100. We'll take it. And that is pretty much it for fundraisers. What? I'm sorry I interrupted, but you said finance and fun and point. Finance went on with that. So I'm going to let him go and finish his marketing. And
Thank you very much. I just wanted to mention that one of the things that happened in this last year, because of our cash flow problem, we had to let our bookkeeper go. We had Kim Revere was doing our QuickBooks, but we could no longer afford her, and we took that back in-house. And we had a wonderful volunteer step up to do that. Gloria Ariaga. Thank you. And also, our treasurer was Norma Anderson, but Lori has taken that over as well. So we thank Lori and we thank Norma for your wonderful service. And I believe that completes that. So let's move right along to performance.
that again would be me and Ms. Andervis over here. Well, first off, I'd like to start out, we have 2 new performance members. I don't know if you guys noticed on the stage, there was quite a few of us. So welcome to Melena and, what's your name again? Rosemary. She says I give her a hard time, so I can't let her off this right now. Last year, we had a really big event that we all did these fundraisers for and went to Posse Music Fest, and that's what most of our fundraisers went to, was to, pay for all of them. That was the first time for the center to send that many people to something. We've done things like Donna and I have gone before where, we save up our income tax or whatever and do the trip. This was the first time the center actually sent a group of us, and it was such fun. So for that, again, we thank you guys for that, and we're going to try to do it again this year, and hope that all that are on, and it's not just us that can go, the music people. If any of you guys want to come with us to Kansas City, jump on the bandwagon, and whatever we don't raise in fundraisers, we have to chip in out of our pockets. But it is a very, very fun trip. Also,
And if I can just say something real quick about that. The thing about going to conferences or retreats or anything like that that's a part of the greater community like this, when you go there and you're with other CSL communities or other Unity communities, or it completely changes the way you look at how we're operating and doing this because it feels so small. Our center's this big, but when you go into a space like that and everyone's saying the same thing, and you're meeting those artists that are the music that you're singing, and then you're singing with them, and they're recognizing your voice, it changes the way that you operate when you come back. It becomes like a global movement then. And we all know that it's the world that we're all trying to save or change or figure out, right? So I feel like the more that we connect to the world, the more that we can say, oh, there you are. And it gives us opportunities to connect to each other.
Also, kind of conversely, the Posse Music Festival.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
positive music. So it's its own genre of music called New Thought music. And our music team up here, like once a year we have to pay to be able to use the copyright, to be able to do their music. That's why we do mostly New Thought music up here to stay in integrity. So it's positive music, which is about, it's got that special spin on it that's about the upliftment. And usually it's got the dogma pulled out. Yeah, lots of chanting, that kind of thing.
And the other thing, though, about traveling, just to kind of, since we just left our tech and things that they do here, we have a profound appreciation for our tech department because when we travel and go other places, they ain't rich. I'm just
They
saying.
sure ain't our tech team, yo. Can I just tell you, we have gone to big spaces, huge centers, and watched their tech team handle the glitches. And when I tell you our tech team are masterful back there, masterful. You don't see those little legs underneath the, figuring out all the little things that show up because it's not just, hey, we're up here. The TVs are on. There's a whole online community watching. There's how is it going to show up years from now? All of these things are happening all while we're in real time trying to hear what Cindy has to say. And if you have somebody up here that has user error, they now have to fix it back there. Like someone who's not using the mic very much, and now this person's comfortable with the mic way out here, but you can't hear what they're saying. They have to crank the mic up back there in such a way that it doesn't squeal for everyone in the room. It's really complex what they're doing back there. And so I just wanted to say thank you to the 3 people that do the things that a whole team, big communities of 20, 30 people are not able to do what these 3 people do.
And finally, in conclusion for performance, I think we are going to try to sing once a month. Sometimes we're preempted with like an Amy Steinberg or somebody who thinks they're good and stuff, but for the most part, we're going to try to bring more music to the center.
And it is expressions. And so the big call out is for those who express using creativity in this way. If you're a performer in your heart and you know you're meant to be on that stage or behind an instrument like a piano, please come see us. We want to help develop that and be the winds underneath your wings.
Are we complete? All right. So moving right along, we have a category called Practitioners in Pastoral Care. And I know just who could talk about that.
Yes. So thank you, Rich. Our 2 practitioners, we get so much done here at this center. You really don't realize it until you step out, as Donna said, regarding our tech and our practitioner team. There are other centers that have dozens of practitioners. We have 2, and they're phenomenal. Right? They do so much, as does everyone on our leadership council. So I just want to say thank you about that. And that practitioner journey begins with the foundations course or with Beyond Limits, which, my bad that we've not offered it enough, I think, but we're going to adjust that this year and offer that class. We also have Reverend Beth Linguri sitting over there. Raise your hand, Beth, so people can see you. Beth and I started here together and both took our first foundations course together. She fast-tracked it and became a minister and started her ministry in Geneva, and I did it here. And now Beth is back with our community and hopefully going to be teaching a class soon. Yes. We'll put the feelers out to see who is interested in taking a class with Beth, but that would be a wonderful blessing. So Our pastoral care folks here have taken a lot of training, starting with foundations and at least 6, 8 other classes that they take. And then foundations itself takes 2 years to get through. And that is the foundation then for the ministerial program. So
it's the
there's a lot to
practitioner.
it.
Practitioner takes
What did I
2
say?
years.
Foundations take 2 years.
I'm sorry, practitioner takes 2 years. Foundations is only 10 weeks. But practitioner training is 2 years. So there's a lot of, just a lot of teaching, a lot of learning, a lot that you get out of being a practitioner. And I hope that there are some of you in the audience that will want to be on that track, because it really does just change you and help you be everything that you came here to be. So I'm so grateful for our 2 practitioners that are just so dedicated and so involved in doing things, not just here, but at their place, which is another extension of here, and just super grateful and proud of everyone. You want to say something?
Yeah, on the practitioner track thing, even if you don't want to become an active practitioner, it's like, I'm not about, praying with people and whatever. When you take the prac classes, you do a deep dive into yourself.
Yeah, the first year is nothing but all about you.
A lot of the things that you think, feel, and say about particularly other people, a lot of that mirror that she spoke of today, practitioner class bursts all of that wide open and makes you look at it.
And that being said, if you're one that says, oh my gosh, I'm going to need a session with a practitioner, and you can book a session with one of the practitioners or the minister. It's a paid session just like any other, like a therapy session would be or anything like that. But we sit down and you're listening. You're trained to listen for spiritual truth and to be able to use spiritual mind treatment to then talk to that thing that person's saying they don't want to experience anymore. And it's very powerful because once you turn that mirror around, you start to see spiritual truth. You step into it when the person starts to speak it. Oh, yeah, I'm remembering now. And it just lifts you out of that fog. It's really quite wonderful work.
Yes. So I think I still got the floor, right? Well, so I'm going to talk about our vision for next year. But before that, I want to hand a mic to Daniel and let Daniel talk about what he did last year. He is not a member of the Leadership Council, but he's been a team lead and part of Green Guardians. And you just go on, Daniel.
Hello, thank you. So this last year, we actually made some huge milestones. I know Aaron talked about it. I was on the garden team, which was then merged into Green Guardians. We started a brand new vegetable garden, and we also created a butterfly garden as well. So we did some huge strides. We created an irrigation system that we're going to be installing in the vegetable garden this year, which just to let you know how cool it is, we haven't had to hand water any plants for months because of this automated system. So super cool. I was also heavily involved in introducing dynamic governance to the center. So I've been super excited for that, and I actually plan to be more hands-on with dynamic governance this year. So if anyone has any questions about that methodology, please ask me. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I am committed to teaching this to as many people as possible.
Would you give us maybe a couple of sentence snapshots of what that is for folks that have
100%,
dynamic governance?
yeah. So for those of you who don't know what dynamic governance is a consent-based decision-making framework. To put it simply, there are four core rules that make it work. So one of them is the principle of rounds. That means everyone gets a chance to speak. The principle of consent. That means that if anyone has an objection to a decision, then that decision is then reevaluated. Other one is the principle of small groups. So you can't get 100 people in a room to agree on almost anything. So groups are kept at sizes of about 10 people or less. And in order to facilitate consent across an entire larger organization, groups are linked. So there are explicit connections between groups. That's what makes it work. It's something that is very different from just voting or having the top-down framework. So, yeah. Any questions? Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. So, yeah, give him a round of applause. So, yes, I'm Cindy Grimes, and I am the inspirator of our center, the spiritual director, and I just wanted to spin off of Daniel's work and why that was important for what we're doing. Because I think y'all have heard me say before, maybe possibly, I never expected to be a pulpit minister. I never thought that I was going to do this every Sunday thing. It was not going to be my gig. I said yes reluctantly. I have loved it. I have really loved it. Not every moment, but most of it, a lot of it. But what I see, and I'm seeing this in the bigger world, and I see it here in our community, and also in my own upbringing and orientation, is this kind of top-down, way of doing life and power over people, and things that we are breaking away from. I think we are going back. There is going to be a need for us to go back to maybe indigenous ways of doing things, of small circles, of smaller groups. And so Daniel's work was perfect for that, that I don't want to make unilateral decisions. This is not just my community, this is our community. So it's real important to me that everyone have a voice and that everyone be part of the decision making, that it's not just, that old, minister up here, the talking head over here, telling you what you're supposed to believe and how you're supposed to live. That's not what I'm about. That's not what this community is about. So we're moving from competition and this kind of power over kind of way to evening things out so everyone is seen and heard and part of the community and part of the decision making.
So,
So-
Share my story about the Indian
Go ahead, sure.
So I'd actually like to share a story with this because it's a very powerful story, and I think I gave you some technical examples of how the system worked, but I think it's important to understand the spirit of it. So the largest implementation of dynamic governance is in India. It's the Indian Children's Parliament, and then there's the Indian Neighborhood Parliaments. This framework started at first in the Indian neighborhood parliaments with just people in neighborhoods getting together and making decisions around their community. So this is 20 to 30 people just making a decision about their direct neighborhood. They brought up some leaders and some ambassadors to gather together and then make decisions about the broader community. And the structure essentially federated until it got so large that there was an entire linked group of neighborhood parliaments that were making decisions on the Indian state level. So this group became so influential that the state government in India actually got nervous, and they said, we forbid you from federating any further because people are getting confused about who the actual government is. So for the people that actually want a government by the people at some point, this kind of framework is critical and it works. So hopefully that gets you excited about it.
So we can all have a voice in the community and creating the kind of community that we want to live in. We started talking last year about building the beloved community and what does that look like beyond thoughts and prayers, like of actual working it out. And now we're entering a new phase, and I'm super excited to talk about where we're headed. But you have something else, Donna?
So in speaking about creating that beloved community and implementing things like dynamic governance, we also have a piece that we had to make more present for us because last year we had some stuff going on with our community online. And as a result, risk management is not the kind of thing that you see on a regular basis in spiritual leadership. Nobody wants to talk about risk management, but it is in the background. And I just wanted to say a big shout out to Grady, who is Cindy's husband, who works in law enforcement and has been holding that vessel between us and the law enforcement community to keep our community members safe. So risk management, if activated, is usually if something happens within our community that could put our community at risk on the larger scale. We are very, very much have to keep and hold our CSL, Center for Spiritual Living. We are responsible for that from home office. So anything outside of the movement, anything that threatens the movement, we have to then sit down and get together, and we may have to activate risk management. And that's when we're all sitting down figuring out if we need to call authorities and what do we need to do. We always start with our community members first. How can we be of service to keep our community members safe, including those who we may see as a risk, because that person may be in pain. That person may be going through something. So how can we hold that person safe, maybe help to point somebody in that direction to keep them safe while they're going through their stuff. So if you have any other questions about risk management and how that unfolds, we would be welcome to listen and to answer anything around that.
Thank you, Donna. That does lead into another piece. I'm glad you said that because it wasn't really on my agenda to speak about it. But Outside of this space, I do work as a facilitator, training people in restorative practices, which for me is the ultimate of peace building. So there's two things when you get groups of people together that are super important. Number one, how do you make decisions, which is our sociocracy and dynamic governance. The other is, what do you do when there's a harm, when there's a hurt, right? When somebody's in pain. And so that's what restorative circles are. When you bring the person who caused harm, the person who was harmed, or the people along with their support team, and you sit in circle. Everything keeps coming right back around to circle and bringing people together in that space where there's no hierarchy, where everyone is seen, where everyone is heard. And you basically talk them through 4 questions. Number 1, what happened? Everyone at the circle gets to talk about what happened from their angle. Number 2, what was the impact? How did that affect you? And everyone speaks on that. The 4th question is, what do we need to do to make it right? Right? What needs are here, and how can we serve everybody's needs and take care of things and resolve the harm? And then the last question is, how do we keep it from happening again? So this is part of who I am. I think now as a human being, I just embody that whenever there is anything that happens. I know my perspective, tell me yours. I know here's how this impacted me, tell me how it impacted you. And how can we resolve it and keep it from happening again? It's so beautiful, it's so simple. You can teach this to kids in a kindergarten class. I have taught middle schoolers, I have worked with men in prison, I have taught university professors. And it doesn't matter how many letters you got next to your name, humans are humans and we got our stuff. And even therapists and counselors were calling on us, with the Peace Building Center to help them detoxify their workplace. You would think therapists and counselors, right? They'd have a little bit of a heads up on this, but no, human beings. It doesn't matter if you're in spiritual community, if you're, again, with people with lots of letters next to their name, or little kids, we go through the same things and it's the same process. So that is part of what we bring and teach here in this community through example, that when something happens, this is how we can handle it without having to necessarily involve authorities unless that is necessary. We would do that, but that goes over to risk management. But the idea is to create really and truly a transparent kind of organization where everyone knows how decisions are made, they are part of it as they choose to, and they can be part of the growth and creating this world that we want to live in. Right? We can see the rest of it falling apart. That's okay. You do your things out there. But here, this is how we do it.
Yeah. And, another piece to really kind of keep in mind, and I have to keep reminding our minister this because her humanity pops in from time to time. So we stand on either side of her and remind her that really this concept, we're in a new era in our world, in our communities, in our town. The world is very different from how it used to look pre-COVID. And then post-COVID, we now have this extra hybrid section to it. And as we came out of that, we really had to sit down with Skunk Works, all of that, to figure out what was our strengths and weaknesses and then step from there. So spiritual leadership, to only have a few of us sitting and looking at that and then ebbing and flowing, it's in flux. It's not perfect. Sometimes we drop the ball. Sometimes they're like, oh, we didn't think of that. And that's why we really depend on the feedback from you, because everything that we're creating it with you in mind. Not people who are coming later, but the people who are here now. And you'd be surprised. This is why we have a community that seems like it's so different every time, and it's because our people are telling us what they want, and that's why we do it this way. Exactly. And it's new. It's very, very new. And that's why I always am reminding Cindy, give yourself grace, because we're creating this as we go. And sometimes we may have pieces that are not quite there yet, but just like any mosaic, you'll see it when it's done.
Yep. We're building the plane as we fly it.
Model CSL.
Truly, I am just putting one foot in front of the other. I have some of the big picture, but some of it just drops in like, holy cow, this is amazing. So now I'm really excited to tell you what's going on.
And that's why she is now called the Inspirator, and that was because Reverend Elaine was like, you're inspiring us to movement, and you are.
Thank you.
And, to know that everybody up here is all volunteers. It's a lot of work, but I do it with all my heart because I know how powerful this is. And because I really, truly believe in the vision that's in front of us. because I have a grandbaby that's going to be sitting under this tree later with her great grandkids.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I do get paid. I'm not a volunteer. Although it says,
She's the only one.
although yes, that's true. If you were paying me what I was worth, you couldn't pay me.
She volunteers a lot.
So yes, I do volunteer some of my time. But so let me tell you what is happening now. Part of our financial situation last year was resolved when we got someone to rent our space. Now, you know, we had Galen, some of you who've been around for a while, we had Galen here for a year, and they were paying a good amount of money for their rental, and then they left. And we really, because of our relationship with our bookkeeper and all, we were not on top of things as we should have been, and you know, my bad. Well, we take responsibility for that we got into a deep hole. And then got up on a Sunday, I said, this is what's what, and someone in the back of the room said, hey, I need a space, you know, can I rent? And so she did. Haven Counseling came in here and rented that space, and it stopped the bleeding, which was wonderful. Well, then come December, she said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to stay as I thought I was. And so she's gone along with the rent that she was paying. So we're again like right there at that edge. But it opened us up to an idea that has been flowing here in and out for many, many years. And it was just time to say, let's just do it. So this hub that you've heard of is an acronym for health, health. What does it say here? Unity, health, unity, and belonging, I think. Yes? Okay, good. So that's the hub. And I'm telling you, we're flying the plane, okay, as we build it. So I'll accept your grace. But anyway, we are transforming this space because this really was one of our best assets. It really is, that we own this property outright. The building, that was the vision of people years ago whose shoulders we stand on today. That we own the building outright. It's 2.5 acres. We're in the middle of town. It's just a really wonderful location. And it sits here empty all week, pretty much, except for a few of us that are in and out. So the idea with this hub is to create a collaborative workspace where people can come that maybe don't need to have a rental 24/7 and pay $1,000 to rent the space. They can instead come and drop in to our space, and we have a whole way for people to be able to sign up and choose their hours and all. That the room all the way in the back is going to have 5 desks in it. So for $130, a person can come in and rent that space and have it for up to 16 hours a week in that space and just come in as they need it. We will be transforming other spaces into practitioner rooms. So the current youth room is going to be more of a conference space. It will have a desk in it, but it will have a conference table so when people have meetings, they can bring their clients there. The current business office is going to be our sound suite / podcast space. So we're going to be soundproofing that room so folks can come in and use it for podcasting. And then the little room here right off the kitchen will be a one-on-one therapy space. So it may be for the Roxiva, or if a therapist only wants to be here once a week and see all their clients at one time, they could use that space. This room will be available for classes, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be full, that the schedule will be full all week with Tai Chi and yoga and conscious breathing or anything else that people might want to bring to this space, and would have use of the grounds. We're looking to have a nice sitting area out there. And we've got, of course, the fire pit and the walking trails and things that people can use. I know when Nikki was here, the therapist, she would go out and walk the park with her clients or go sit outside on a beautiful day. And that's not something that most therapists have that they're able to take advantage of. So that's one piece of it, and that's going to be a lot to get that off the ground. We'll have a soft open with Pam and
Yes.
Dasha coming at the end of the month on the Saturday. So we'll have vendors in this space, we'll have people in the rooms, and just give people a sense of what this is going to look like. Yes, Jennifer?
So the vendors that are coming on the 28th, how many of them, do you think, maybe this is a question for you and Dasha, do they know that there's an opportunity for a permanent home here?
That's what that's what we're letting people know. So, and it's going to take all of you, all of us working together to get the word out so that we can book our spaces.
And now they're vending here, and they have a place somewhere else, but it's not a place like this.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what we're looking forward to. There's a couple of collaborative workspaces in Ocala. The one that I know of has 2 locations, and my understanding is that they have a waiting list. So I think once the word gets out, once we're ready to rock and roll, say this is it, you know, we're going to be full. And we already have somebody renting space. Yeah, he's been coming in the morning like 7, and he works for 4 hours and he takes off. So that's the idea. There'll be 5 desks. I think it's a total of 7 desks that we'll have, 7 or 8, something like that. Yes, we have a needs list. In fact, there's handouts over there by the front door if somebody wants to grab them. Somebody want to grab that? Thank you. To hand them out regarding the hub. So that's part 1 of the hub. Part 2, oh, sorry, Chelsea, go ahead.
The event on the 28th, do we have a Facebook page or anything for that yet?
Yes.
Yeah, people.
Yes, there is. There is. So this is the next kind of, not so pie in the sky. We still have some things that we need to work out. You can hand it to folks in the room. And that is the hub exchange is what we're calling it right now. And the idea with that is to bring barter into our community. We're doing all of these indigenous practices. In typical barter, if I have something of value and you have something of value, you have what I want, I have what you want, and we make an equal exchange. Now, there are times when, well, let me give you a for example. I was visiting with Dr. Matt. He's a chiropractor that's been coming here. And I went to his office to visit with him and have a procedure done or have a process done. And he said, God, I really hate to charge you. You know, I don't know what to charge you. I'm like, well, what do you charge everybody else? Yeah, but it's you, you know, like I don't want to charge you. I said, this is how you make your living. Tell me what you charge. And I paid him. And then he said, you know that light machine thing you have at the center? I really love that. What do you charge for that? I want to come and have a treatment. I said, well, you know, I hate to charge people, and I haven't come up with a price for what I'm going to charge. And so we both had a good laugh about that. But what it did was reminded me of an organization I was part of when I had my business 20, 30 years ago. And it was a parenting magazine. I provided advertising in this publication. And so I was part of a barter organization that did not require us to barter one-on-one. For example, I offered, say, a $500 ad in my magazine, and there's a person who sells air conditioning units or does AC. Well, I don't need $500 worth of AC. But because I was part of this group, could take that 500 barter dollars, goes into my account, and I could then use it for anything else in the group. So that meant that I was able to send Justin to Montessori school for 8 years. It meant that I was able to get my roof replaced and skylights and my kitchen remodeled and many restaurants and vacations all on barter. So if you're tracking with me now, the idea would be that the people who are part of this hub community could be part of an organized barter system where the chiropractor and I wouldn't have to feel weird about trading services because we could use anything else in the group. And it doesn't have to be just for businesses. Imagine that all of these beautiful volunteers who are out there sweating in the summertime, raking leaves or pulling weeds from the garden or washing dishes in the kitchen or doing any number of things that we do here out of the goodness of our heart could get some type of credit, barter dollars, tokens, whatever, however we want to designate, and then use that for other things within our community. Getting a massage with Norma, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you get enough barter dollars, you could take a vacation in Jamaica. Hello, right? Right? So, yes, questions?
Is there room anywhere for a bulletin board that maybe people could say, you know, I'm looking for or I'm in need of and maybe the other half of the bulletin board could say, I have this to offer.
That would be part of it, yes.
Is there a place for a bulletin board, or, I'm talking about a physical bulletin board,
Yes.
not an online bulletin board?
Right, right. Well, I do envision both.
Okay.
I see a physical bulletin board, and maybe it means reworking what we already have here. There's something over there, but it's not really well utilized, or maybe it needs to be in the coffee nook, and all of these things. I have lots of ideas. Doesn't mean I can implement them all, and it doesn't mean that they're all ours to do. We as a community would pick and choose which things we want. My thought about the online directory is that every member of the hub would have a profile that each person would fill out, and we're going to do an activity around this in the next couple of weeks. But just letting people know who you are. 3 questions we're going to do. First one is, what would you like to experience? What's on your bucket list of things that you want to do? The second question is, what ways do you want to grow? And then the last one is, what would you like to contribute? What are your gifts that you would want to give? And so I didn't make this up. I got this from another wonderful teacher from Mind Valley. Any of you know Mind Valley? It's a learning platform, lots of great classes. So what Mind Valley did, Vishen Lakiani with his group, was anybody who is staff at Mind Valley has this profile of their answers to what he calls the 3 most important questions. And everybody has access. It's shared with the community. So he had 3 people in his staff that all wanted to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. They found each other through their directory, and they got together and they made the trip together because they knew each other in that way. So that is my hope and my dream and expectation, is that folks in our community are going to get to know each other in a really deep way, and to be able to support each other in having some of our bucket list dreams happen. So, Chelsea.
Hello. So something that I would love to see, if we're able to work it into all this, is when we're talking about the hub and then we're talking about the store, would be for people like me that produce products, like I make my essential oil products, to be able to sell them here all the time, even when I'm not physically here.
Yep.
Maybe move the library to a different section and have the store just be a store, and really vamp it up, let everyone that produces these things like this, spiritual things, and have them in there. So that's something that's been heavily on my mind as well. Services are great, but then it would be awesome to have the products out on display. And when she said bulletin board, that's what hit me, is that bulletin board should be in the store, the products are for sale, the barcodes are ready to go, and it's going to help everyone. And every step of the way, it's going to be profitable.
Exactly. Yep, yeah. Thanks, Chelsea. Yes, and we do, you'll see there's a wish list on the, I don't know if everybody got one, on the hub at the bottom. We need desks. We're going to need lamps. We will need some seating for out here. What else is there? We're going to soundproof the room, and Richard has gone through and figured out all of the stuff that we need for soundproofing. I think that was $354 to
So you're
soundproof
saying we
the
need the
space.
money for these things, we don't want people bringing in desks?
Yes, that would be preferable. That would be preferable. For the outdoor furniture, if it's nice, if it's really nice, I think that would be fine. The desks, I would like them to look the same, especially in the room where we're going to have all of those desks together. I don't want it to, we want it to look professional, right? We want it to. All the desks in the space don't have to look the same, but definitely the ones in that back room to have some coming out. So it looks like we put it together intentionally, right? Yes.
So that back room with the 5 desks, people would be in there at the same time renting space. So it's kind of like a small business incubator?
Yes.
Okay,
Sort of, kind of.
okay.
Yes.
And I love Chelsea's idea too. I know that complicates things with stuff you're already working on in the shop. But once we get to that place, what a great idea to have her stuff and Prince and whoever's stuff, and maybe just like rent a space or shelf like she and I were talking about, and another.
I'm even willing to tie a percentage back.
Sure.
It's a bonus to
Something,
everybody. The more
yes.
Yes.
It's got to be mutually beneficial.
And that is the overarching umbrella. right? Is that the people, whether they're part of the hub or they're part of the exchange, is that we're here to be a mutual, benefit to each other, right? What helps me helps you, what helps you helps me, and we all rise together. It's a very collaborative kind of effort. And there will be some vetting for the people who are members of the hub, but the other questions or thoughts, we're really at time. But yes, thank you.
No, it's fine. I guess I can. Yeah, okay. Been 10 years, so it's just kind of, just wanted to share that on a background in stealth mode, I've built quite a robust technology that already can support a lot of those initiatives from crowdsourcing to getting projects off the ground to supporting the dynamic governance, through holacratic, what they call system, where it's all in the same kind of level. You just kind of, everybody's responsible for their part, and people are coming together to discuss the greater good to the bartering system. So I would love to, introduce it. You guys can use it, whatever, adopt it. Also, I barter something. I think it could be really, really, so it's like something that, again, I've envisioned, developed, it's right there, ready. It's not, just like you can, it helps people to know more about each other. Right now we're building like a new module that, for example, it gives me a list of character features and I rate myself, but then somebody else, I send it and they rate me, and I kind of compare how I see myself versus how others see me, and I can do that comparison, because we do need to, speaking of that mirror, right, and the internal work, I think often that's where it starts, and kind of, it's a lot of things through, again, the barter we call the WeCoin systems, where people can get each credit. So everything that I've heard, it's like the technology to support it, it's like right here. Just wanted to announce, and hopefully we'll talk.
How about that? Isn't it fascinating when someone walks in the door and has exactly what you're looking for?
Simon says.
Right? Isn't that a beautiful thing? So I want to be mindful of all of our time. I thank you all for being here. Is there anyone else want to say anything else before we close out?
I do.
Please do, Mr. President.
So one of the things it says here is members are invited to pledge and recommit.
Mm.
And part of what we're trying to do is update our database. If there's a QR code, if you can scan that, it'll take you to a form. You can put in your contact information and birth date and whatever else, and we'll put that in the database so we're all current on everything. So I'm trying to get everybody to do that.
What I've
Awesome,
noticed is
thank
a lot
you.
of people don't give us emails. Emails are very helpful.
Emails are helpful, as is your actual address. That helps too for things when we're mailing out.
People that want tax letters at the end of the year, we need your contact information because we don't have an address or an email or anything.
We can't
What do
send
we
it.
do?
Right. And those actually, did they go out, Lori? The emails went out. Okay.
Whatever report I ran, evidently the filters weren't right, so I misunderstood how many actually had email addresses.
Excellent.
There were some that didn't have email or address, so couldn't get anything sent out for like 4.
Okay, great. If you donated
We
last
do
year,
anonymous.
all right. If you donated last year and have not yet received your tax letter, let us know. We'll make sure you get that. Ken, question?
Yeah, I was told I could sign up for the membership today. Did I miss that?
It's this.
It's the QR code.
I don't bring my phone anywhere. I
We'll take care of you. We got you. We got you. We got you.
don't bring phones in the restaurant or spiritual centers.
We got
It's
you.
also on our website. If you go to tsocala.org, right on the home page, look down a little bit and you'll find the registration form.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Keep all this stuff in mind. Of course, it's not all up yet, but do help us as you can. If you have ideas, we are open. Donations, for sure. If anybody really likes decorating and can help us, I'd be glad to go through the rooms and figure out where we're going to put this bulletin board and how we're going to rearrange that sitting area and all kinds of fun stuff. So
And if you want to make a donation specific to the hub, notate that on whatever method you're giving. If you're doing cash, put it in an envelope and put it for the hub. If you're online, whatever, so that the funds are getting to where you wanted it to go.
yes,
Yeah.
Elaine.
I just have a question on absolute immediate needs right now.
Yeah,
Where are we?
the desks. Where are we financially?
Yeah.
We're like
Oh,
overall.
is it the hub that needs the most support right now? Where are we? What are the immediate needs of CSL right now?
Right now. We have a loan that was that we took out last year to get us back on our feet. That's $14,000 loan that we're not paying back yet. And I would say the hub. I don't know if our regular giving is taking care of our current expenses at the moment. But
And so far, it is, we're just kind of wavering along, breaking even, and we haven't gone under yet. But I think initially money to buy the desks and things that we need for the hub, because the hub is what's going to generate the future income that we're going to need to really grow and be able to pay Cindy what she's worth. And
Can't afford that.
yet, the desks, I would say, that's the big thing, is
And
to get those
a
desks.
speaker, so that those of us who are
Speaker
roaming
system,
with the
we're
kids.
looking at that speaker system for inside and outside we want to set up, and the guru here has got some ideas for that and what that will cost, that will have it be minimum. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. I just went through that and it's asking me to be considered full membership, associate member, youth member, or friend. And I'm not quite sure what the difference is between full and associate. Can you explain that?
yes, if you scroll down a little bit, I think it does explain it. But a full member is one that has taken the foundations or equivalent class. And the associate member is someone who's just coming in and has not taken classes. Friend is if you just want to come and don't want to belong. Some people don't want to commit, but you can be a friend. So that's what those are. Youth is for under 18, I believe
Yeah.
it is.
And full membership is what allows people to serve on the board and also to teach our youth. And we may revisit that. You know, I'm not a fan of all of that stuff anyway. So, yes, ma'am.
I know you said that the numbers haven't been put together yet, but Rich, you may have some kind of an idea about what it would take to wire this place to have the intercom system going in the back and outside and so on.
I don't have complete numbers. I'm experimenting with a few things. One thing that I'm doing is there are Wi-Fi light bulb speakers where you just screw in the light bulb and it's got a speaker and you hook it to the Wi-Fi and the sound comes out. Magic.
I mean, we
Wow.
talking $500, or we talking $10,000?
We're talking less than 500. Unless it doesn't work as I think it will, but I'm very hopeful that it will.
Awesome.
So, more on that
We
later.
have one you can, well, my husband, I have to ask him because it's his, but we have one I think you can borrow to try. It's too loud for my house, I don't like it, so I'm going to take it down.
Well, I have a couple come in, in fact.
Okay.
I have
Try
one
it out.
now
But
that's
it
a
works really well.
Awesome.
The light bulb
Apparently too well.
Fabulous. Thank you, everybody. Have a great.
Wait.
Oh, pray us out.
Sorry. There's only one more thing that I was remiss to mention, cleaning. For those of you who may have a cleaning service or a cleaning company, I know some people have this as, you know, something they do out there in our community. We need cleaners here. As you can see, and as a nurse, I'm speaking to this, we try to avoid the passing around of germs. So if you are one that are like, yeah, I can come and I could, sweep a floor, I could wipe a, whatever. Please, we could really use some help with the cleaning.
All right. I think y'all remember the prayer for protection? The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
And we do have CPR coming up here at 3, so if you could go ahead and leave the chairs, well, we'll pick up some of those chairs. Most of the chairs will be up, but if you would leave like a couple of the tables and chairs, and that'll be enough. Like 2 tables. 2 tables and like, 4 and 4 and 4 and 4.